Quarantine. It is a term that is thrown into every sentence you hear nowadays. I'm Matthew Piscini, and I'm from Tallinn, Connecticut. I'm one of the fortunate ones, but the virus has affected my life as it has affected everyone around the world. My old life was full of friends, family, and things that I used to enjoy doing most, like going to concerts, going on long bike rides with friends, and editing videos that we used to film in our free time. We also used to love going to Buffalo Wild Wings, one of our favorite restaurants, and seeing as I live so far away from Delaware, El Diablo is one thing that I'll always love. That's when everything changed. Pictures with friends used to look like this, and now they look a lot like this. My routine changed significantly. When the coronavirus hit, I went from doing things in a pretty structured basis to feeling somewhat scattered. I would often find myself doing a little bit of work and going out and going on a long bike ride or a jog to try to find some sort of peace of mind. I'm very fortunate that I live in Connecticut, an area where I'm allowed to go out and I'm allowed to see these beautiful sights. People in New York are not allowed to have the same freedoms that we do, considering how bad the virus is. I hope one day I will see my friends, and we gotta stay focused on the light at the end of the tunnel. We'll make it there eventually. Here's a look at what my days are like. Quarantine routine. Wake up, takes a little while nowadays. Roll around, a little groggy, but you get out of bed eventually. Go to the bathroom, gotta brush your teeth, make sure you're nice and fresh. I like Colgate, good brand. After brushing my teeth, gotta go get dressed. So, what we got here? I don't know. I'm feeling blue today. Blue's a nice color. Yeah, this seems good. Some classic Delaware merch. After getting dressed, gotta head downstairs and make some breakfast. Stop by the cat, make sure she's doing good. She looks fine. Alright, what's her breakfast? Honey nut, some cereal, looks good. Nice carbohydrates, some energy for later in the day. Milk, some milk coffee. Got yourself a nice thick bowl. And there's breakfast right there. Not the most nutritious option, but it gets the job done. Gotta have some energy for those hard Zoom classes coming up. After breakfast, check in the other cat, make sure she's good. Head upstairs and get ready for some studies. First class of the day, English, 8 a.m. Take some notes. Make sure everything's going fine. Making a bit of an agenda for the week, make sure everything's ready. And then you gotta start doing some homework. Here's some calculus homework. Looks a little frustrating. After a while of being frustrated, I'm sure you guys understand. Eventually you gotta give up. Now, my favorite part of the day, the bike ride. That's all I really have left anyways nowadays. And besides my cats, bike rides is the only thing that keeps me going. Get those shoes on and get ready to go out. I'm sure most of you understand exercise is a very important part of mental health, and it definitely plays an important role in my life to make sure that everything stays, my mind stays fresh. Went out to the Mansfield Hollow. Very nice view right there is a dam, and I gotta come home for dinner. What's for dinner? How about maybe some, what about breakfast for dinner? That sounds good to me. What we got? The eggs. What a great choice. Oh, gotta have some sharp cheddar. Makes sense. Some potatoes, maybe some hash browns. And there you go. There's a black-eyed Susan. Pretty simple dish. And now, you gotta eat it, enjoy, and get ready for some late night gaming with the boys. Turn on the PC and get ready to play some Minecraft. After that, gotta hit the hay and get ready for the next day. Got a big week ahead of me. I'm sure all of us do. Now you may be thinking, hey, that doesn't sound too bad, right? And yeah, you have a point. But what was missing? What was life like before all of this? Well, it was actually a lot different. First of all, I was in Delaware with you guys, which is very far away from where I am now. And I miss all the people there and all the experiences. The biggest thing that's missing is social life. I also was a member of the club swim team, so not having a team commitment anymore is a little sad. Parties were also very, very helpful for a chance to get a break, Get to go out and socialize and get a break from the stress. I feel as though that is the biggest change for me, is the social element. Other than that, I've been able to maintain somewhat of a similar lifestyle. I'd wake up, go to class, eat lunch, come back and maybe take a nap, then finish homework and go to practice, and then maybe go to a party at night. And that's basically it. The social element is the only thing that was really taken away from me. What about the people that are more affected by this? The most relevant case, in my opinion, is New York City. New York City is very close to me, and Southern Connecticut actually has a lot of cases due to people leaving New York, seeking refuge in Connecticut. So what is life like for people in New York? Let's find out.
Sí, hace ya 4 días que tiene tos y fiebre. Entonces ayer venimos, pero había mucha gente, entonces nos regresaron a la casa. Entonces hoy estoy aquí desde las 7 de la mañana haciendo fila para él.
We're out in the front lines of this. As Mike said, over 6,000 calls a day, which are breaking records. We didn't have this many calls on 9/11.
After viewing that video by South China Morning Post, it is very easy to see that the residents of New York are in a bad condition. They are forced to quarantine and not allowed to go to even state parks or anywhere that allows them to experience freedom similar to the past. Many people compare it to just as bad as 9/11, maybe even worse. This got me thinking, what in my life could I contribute to add some information to this? And I remembered that there's someone in my home who can contribute a great deal of information and is very personal to me. I'd like to introduce you to my dad. Hey guys, how you doing? Matt here, today with my dad.
Hello, Frank Bassini, Matthew's dad. I work as a fishing assistant in Hartford, Connecticut.
Tell me, how is it going during this whole pandemic situation in your hospital?
Probably the biggest change is no visitors, so no family members can visit. They talk on the phone, maybe FaceTime if they have a smartphone. That's one big thing. Of course, wearing masks every day, that's a hassle. Sweating, can't breathe well. And we have 2 or 3 COVID positive patients in rehab. They're alone in a room. We call them dirty rooms, and the unit's called a dirty unit. Only certain workers go into those rooms, so they don't want to dirty, more workers than they have to. There's one therapist assigned to that patient, one doctor assigned to that patient, one nurse, per shift, and they minimize my interaction with the patient in the room, which is kind of sad, but it's for the safety of everybody.
So would you say that it's become more stressful or less stressful?
Oh yeah, more stressful for sure, because you worry about your own safety, number one, and then of course the patients, and they're COVID positive, they're not always sick. We had one patient who got really bad and went back to the main, they call it mothership, to get treated for COVID.
Do you feel as though you're at risk of getting the virus? Or?
Oh yeah, yep. I wear an N95 mask all day long. Wash your hands frequently. So if somebody gets a fever now in the hospital, we rule them out for COVID. So that person stays in their room. Their roommate has to get sent out to another separate room. So we don't know if they're positive yet. They're being tested for COVID because they had fever, maybe a cough. Most times they're negative, COVID negative, but now with this happening, we have to test them for that. So we have to wear a face shield, a mask over our mouth and nose, a yellow gown, and of course gloves.
Do you anticipate the situation getting worse?
No, it sounds like admissions are going down. Certainly in Connecticut, where we are. I have a good friend in Norwalk, Connecticut, who's a PA like me, who's home now with the virus. I FaceTimed him 2 days ago. He's got a pretty bad cough, you can hear it. Cough, bad headaches, and fatigue are his symptoms. He said about 2 weeks ago, 2 COVID positive patients were brought to the ICU, and 2 days later, 4 nurses, my buddy who got it, a PA, and a doctor, 6 people got infected with the virus, probably from one of the 2 people that were sick with it. They call that person a super spreader. Must have had a huge viral load or something when they cough or something. I think it's getting better.
So how long do you think it's going to last?
Tough to predict. They interviewed the man who co-founded a major vaccine. He said it takes 20 years usually, normally, to come up with a safe vaccine, but under these circumstances, because of what's going on, if they do find a vaccine that's compatible with, benefit, they'll put it in action perhaps by January.
What do you think the mental effects on healthcare workers has been and is going to be in the future?
I think it's going to be significant. You probably saw that emergency medicine doctor from New York who took her own life about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, post-traumatic stress, because I'm not in a COVID unit like in the ICU, but it's serious. Mental health will be an issue for sure, not only for healthcare workers, but for people at home are quarantined or social distancing. It's impacting people's anxiety, their depression, right? Joblessness, unemployment, the economic impact. That's going to affect a lot of people.
So what's your opinion on people that are ignoring the quarantine restrictions and going out as if things are back to normal?
I just pray they're okay. I would recommend be very cautious. Haste makes waste, right? You rush into stuff and the next thing you know, you're back to square one.
Do you have anything you want to say to my generation, or I guess your audience here, the class?
I'm in the same boat as you guys. I'm 53 years old, but I never seen anything like this. You have to wear masks to go to a grocery store. There's arrows in the aisles at grocery stores. Go up one, down one. You got to obey those things. When you go to check out at a grocery store, you got to be 6 feet behind there. There's tape on the ground in the grocery store. I've never been through this. I'm first time like you guys. Just listen to the experts. My advice would be listen to the experts and be patient. This too shall pass, they say. It will.